Good morning. New coach mistake number 59. Most rookie amateur unsuccessful coaches have what I call positivity over reliance. I'll explain what that is. I had a coaching call with a client yesterday who said, you know what, Miles, I'm always positive. I'm always trying my best to be positive. And I said, why aren't you being negative? And they said, because negative's not good. And I said, who says? I said, think of a battery for a second. A battery wouldn't be able to power itself, do what its job is, if it didn't have a negative charge. And this is what I see a lot of people doing that are coaches. I think it's kind of, the word positive has been kind of bastardized somewhat by the personal development space, so that you've either got to be positive or just don't even bother showing up. And for me, there's a real problem with that, because let me tell you this, like over the years, me trying to always be positive has led to some really, really severe mental health issues where I've almost suppressed emotion to the point where it was literally like me having the finger on a kettle preventing it from boiling. You know, the great spiritual teacher Wayne Dyer once said, there's a time for everything. And then he went on to elaborate and say, there's a time for breathing in, there's a time for breathing out, there's a time for nighttime, there's a time for daytime, there's a time for going out for a run, and there's a time for resting, right? There's a time for everything. There's a time for positive, there's a time for negative. And I think what a lot of rookie coaches do is they think they've always got to be positive. And the problem is, if you're always positive, you may be potentially suppressing some feelings. And the problem is, if you're suppressing feelings, you're not actually being what makes a great coach. Because you see, being a great coach being a great coach isn't about just being positive. It's actually about allowing the full essence of you to be shown to a client, so that when you coach the client, you're coaching them from a place of congruency, from integrity, and not from a place of, look at me, I'm fixed, I'm perfect, I'm only ever positive, which is just frankly not real. I believe that one of the fundamental common misconceptions about coaching is that you've always got to be positive. It's not true. I'm not saying to complain and bitch and moan on purpose, but what I'm saying is, if you're feeling a certain way, don't suppress that feeling, allow that feeling out. Because if you come against a client who's feeling a certain way and that feeling isn't good or isn't positive, the way to help them is to go, hey, you look, me too, I sometimes feel that way, and here's what I do about it. The point is not to suppress emotions, it's to allow them, feel them, and then when you allow them and feel them, you're in a better place to allow them to naturally come out and express and resolve, rather than suppressing, which often just turns into more anger, pain, resentment, fear, worry, frustration, like the finger on the kettle analogy. So I hope this video helps. A little bit of a ramble towards the end as I was crossing a busy road and nearly got run over. Thankfully I didn't. But yeah, I hope you found this one useful, and remember, be negative. That's a weird way to end a video, but you get the point, right? There's a time for everything. There's a time for positive and there's a time for negative. Don't suppress your emotions. Show up with the level of authenticity and vulnerability that your clients need to make their life better. Peace out.